Hello, my life with CS. Total nightmare. Anyway, our children are in Richland, which is over there in Pasco, Washington. And basically, we found out that there's nothing but over there but a bunch of pedophiles because there's 44 registered pedophiles just where my child lives. And we've always had to check each area to find out if there were any pedophiles living in the vicinity, because it gives you a better way of protecting your children and making sure that they're safe. And then also a neighborhood watch, because therefore you can make sure that your child is double A-OK, you know. Anyway, CPS is really something else. I mean, this is September. I'm not going back to court until November. And when I was in court, the judge did mention that she is completely unaware of all the material and documentation that I've turned in since the case begun, even though it started off with her, that all the documentation has not been given onto her. Inventories have not been taken from CPS altogether and registered with the court. I did kind of mention in court that I wrote up to 500 letters since our children have been gone, sending them Christmas cards, birthday cards, you know, get well cards when they got sick, or, you know, just different types of cards, which mean I love you and I hope you're having a great day, and take care cards. Abundance of cards sent to my kids. Just little things here and there, which indicates letter form. But in the first foster home, I never received any kind of thank you letter from the foster parents or thanks for the cards, anything like that. That's been a true nightmare in itself. Oh, here's the papers. These are pedophiles that are located where my children are living, so I hope that the foster family is checking that out for sure. But anyway, the first foster parent lost custody of our children due to the negligence that they gave onto my child. My daughter got her face burnt, boom, just like that. They took my daughter to the emergency room only to leave 1 hour later before seeing the doctor. They claimed that they were frustrated and that they just thought they could take the child home and handle it themselves. But yet, this is a mature, educated individual who CPS put in charge of my child, who's supposed to be capable of, you know, taking care of my child, who is a little bit more needed in different areas than a regular child is. She went home, did not give the child proper medical attention, and basically lost her rights to be foster parent to my 2 children, plus her children, okay? She doesn't even have her own children now because of my 2 children alone, because of her neglect. But she seemed like a nice person when we met her for the brief moment. But, you know, it just seems like that was just really irresponsible. And now my children are to another foster home. Now this is a whole other foster home together. So my children are there at the brand new foster home, leaving the old foster home behind. And so they're starting all over again. Basically, as a mother and my husband, we just got tired of being followed around. Every time we moved, CPS always tries to find a reason to come around. Always something. So we just got tired of them tainting our lives and the invasion of privacy, which we got really sick of. Because, you know, when you move, it's supposed to be a new beginning. Everything's supposed to be fresh and new. Well, it didn't seem very fresh when you have people you don't know coming to your house and trying to say, well, I think you should do this, I think you should do that, or I'm going to bring you to court because I need to control your life. I need to be the boss of your life. I need to tell you what to do with your time. I need to tell you where to go. I need to tell your children where to go. So to me, that's just like slavery. But I do have to say, we have been in this new place going on a month. And guess what? We don't have any children, but CPS hasn't knocked on our door. And we've only had the people that we respect, that we care about, and that we trust into our home. And that's a big change for us, because I'll tell you, since I've had that little girl, my daughter, I have been bothered from that day all the way up to the time they took the children. Because it's like, wow, we're going to harass you. Not for just the 6 months that we signed a 6-month contract to. Because my lawyer did not say to me, hey, you know what? You're going to be bothered for the next 6 years. So it may look like it's 6 months, because there's always a plan and there's always a new plan. It's like, just a minute. 6 months? Okay, fine. Because all my friends were losing money on their jobs. They had regular jobs, especially my husband's sister. She was working at Starbucks, and every single time we go to court and they would decide not to have her come to court, she lost 1 full day of work on her job. And my husband, we had to pay her for that 1 day that she took off from work. She's making like 9 something an hour. Okay, so times that by 8-hour day that she lost, you know, we'd have to give her like 70, almost $80. And it was like, wow. So within 2 weeks, it was $160. Within 1 month, it was $320. And then when they canceled the appointment for the 5th time, it was like almost $400 out of her pockets, you know? And it was like, wow, how many times can we keep paying my husband's sister to take the day off from work? Because she wanted to be compensated. And since she didn't have a government job, it was like we had to pay her. And that's the reason we went ahead and signed the 6-month contract. Because we figured that everybody that I brought to court, everybody that my husband brought to court, those people were good enough to have all of this completely out of our way, and that we were not going to be bothered anymore. And it, you know, and it's like, nope, they just did that for a reason. And I understand now when I look back on it. They did it because if I had all those people to verify my whole entire existence, because let's face facts, I grew up with these people. These people were good friends of my parents. Some of them were great friends of my grandparents. So they can verify things in my life because, hey, if you're my mom's best friend, which Mildred Saunders is, if you're my mother's very, very best friend, then that means you were there for their children, because Mrs. Saunders only lived 3.5 blocks from our house. So she knew every single thing that was going on. I mean, this lady has, I love this lady dearly. She has cancer. She has problems with her health. She has diabetes. And she was willing to come to court over and over again, in spite of how she felt, to tell CPS point blank, hey, I was there. Everything did occur that she said, and here I am to verify it. And it's like, you know, you have a sick person who has physical problems, and they're willing to, between going to chemotherapy, between having high blood pressure, between having diabetes, they say, okay, I'll come to court. I'll be there. And then have her move her appointments and to not take a nap that day and say, okay, I'm going to be at court at 2 o'clock that afternoon. And then have CPS call up and say, oh, we don't need you. Over and over and over and over and over. That becomes more frustrating. So what happened was, when it got up to the $400 mark that we